Why Not? A queer podcast.
Thank you to our sponsor, Pineapple Healthcare, an award-winning primary care clinic right here in Orlando.
Pineapple Healthcare offers mental health counseling, HIV, STI testing and treatment, and specializes in care for the LGBTQ plus community.
Open Monday through Saturday. Call today at 407-553-6336 and schedule your appointment.
Pineapple Healthcare. Better together.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Todd.
And I'm Jeremy Williams, and you're listening to Wine,
Why Not? A queer podcast.
episode 158.
Are you, like, mouthing the words as I'm saying that?
I was going through the whole script. I wanted to make sure I knew it all.
Throwing me off a little bit.
Yeah,
and then
here
I
we
always
are,
say,
158.
hi, everyone. This time I said, hi, everybody. They're going to think there's a new host.
They're going to be like, you're not the real Rick. It's
Caitlin's-
AI Rick.
Caitlin's like what I like to call in studio, because this is this beautiful studio.
Sure.
So you'll see me do this a lot.
Look over.
I'll look over there and talk to her. I'm going to try not to. I'm going to
Listen.
focus.
We're episode 158. I am used to you looking off to your right to look at Caitlin and look down at your phone all the time. So
Yeah, I'm not changing my habits after 157. 158 is not going to be the one that does it.
listen, at our age, we had this talk at work. Well, not we. I, with my coworkers, had this talk at work. After you reach a certain age, it's tough to change your habits. It's
Yeah.
like it's just the way I do it now. So you have to adapt to me because I can't change.
Yeah. Speaking of being old, I walked over into what I will call the young office earlier today.
Sure.
And in there is a person who wasn't born until after I started working here, and then there's a person in there who wasn't born until like after my 10-year anniversary of working here. Nah, he's not 14. He's got to be 17. Oh, he's 20. Okay. Anyway, I walked in there and everybody stopped talking. Like I opened the door and then it went silent, and I was like, "Who am I? E.F. Hutton?" Nobody knew what the fuck I was talking about.
They're just staring at you.
I had to explain it to them. Then the intern, the 20-year intern, he looks up on his laptop, E.F. Hutton commercial, and then plays it. After the commercial played, he goes, "I get it now. That was a funny joke you made when you walked in." Yeah. I was like, I am funny to old people.
Yeah. It's quite an ordeal. Being the oldest person at work. I mean, you know how it feels. But I'm the oldest place at my job.
Person at work.
And it's not like I'm the oldest and then it's like, oh, it's me at 46 and then some 40 and 30. No, it's me at 46 and then a few 30-year-olds and then a bunch of 20-year-olds. So
you're so old. They sometimes call you Mr. Macy. They don't know.
They do. They think I was born there. However,
they think it's named after you. Own it. You started it.
I was told by several of the 20-year-olds that I have aura, and then I was assured that that was a good thing.
Oh, have you looked it up?
I did. I guess it's like a vibe. It's putting out a vibe.
Oh,
I have
Jesus.
an aura about
We
me.
can't say vibe anymore. Now we say
No,
it's
that's
got
what
aura.
old people say, Grandpa.
Jesus. Pick a word.
I have an aura.
You know what? Fuck it. You're awesome. That's what you are. You're awesome.
Oh, no. They won't get that reference. So, so we're throwing down some mad aura in today's podcast. I'm sure I used that right.
Threw down some mad aura this weekend.
Ugh.
So 158. That's where we
Yes.
are. Tell me what you and your mad aura did.
Ugh.
No,
Okay.
no. We're not there yet. That's
No.
the week. 158. What kind of 158 stats you got?
Okay, I don't have much. I got three things. One of them is really a stat. The other two are just interesting things that I feel like we should talk about.
Whenever somebody says, I don't know much, does your brain sing the rest of that song?
But I know I love you.
Maybe.
We just lost our aura.
I can't do it.
We lost our aura.
I can't hit the high notes like Aaron Neville.
Okay, so 158.
Aaron Neville Longbottom. Sorry.
I appreciate you trying to bridge the gap between generations there.
Or
Okay,
King
so
Cobra.
158. For those who are fans of literature, in The Great Gatsby, you know that the 158th Street apartment in The Great Gatsby is a small top floor love nest. I'll use air quotes because they did on Wikipedia. A top floor love nest in Washington Heights, rented by Tom Buchanan for his affair with Myrtle Wilson.
Ooh.
Do you remember that?
See, I think that's Hamilton Heights.
No.
I just say I know that's what the thing says, but I feel like Hamilton Heights goes up to like 160. I could be
Washington Heights meets Harlem at 155, and I know this because one of my coworkers lives at 155 where Washington Heights and Harlem meet. And she was telling me about apartments that are opening up over there.
Well,
that she wants me to go look at.
Yeah, they must have broken off pieces of Harlem, and they don't call it. Like Harlem's like, because 150 or 140s to 150s. That's like Hamilton Heights. So Hamilton Heights is between Harlem and Washington Heights. No.
No.
Yes.
No, not according to The Great Gatsby.
Wow. I mean, back then, and during Great Gatsby time, probably not. That's what I mean. I think they broke off pieces of Harlem.
Hamilton Heights wasn't even around back then.
Probably because some people were like, I can't live in Harlem. And they're like, fine, we'll call this block Hamilton Heights. And everybody's like, I must pay a fortune to live in Hamilton Heights.
Yes, that is what happened. So yeah, I got that one from The Great Gatsby. My other one is Pokemon number 158 for Caitlin. It's
you got two?
No, I got a third one, but I'm going to
okay.
do the Pokemon one first because the next one I want to make a series. Pokemon 158 is Totodile? Totodile? Okay. It's a little dinosaur Pokemon. Here's a little tidbit that the website had about Totodile. Its powerful, well-developed jaws are capable of crushing anything, even its trainer, if you're not careful. So, yeah.
Well, he looks like a happy little crocodile-y thing.
That's
what?
Don't be deceived by that. That's before he evolves.
I gotta say, I didn't realize how big this I thought this Pokemon thing was just like a nerd thing, but apparently either it's a nerd thing or it makes so much money you can pay cool people to say I like Pokemon. Have you seen the Pokemon commercial that's got like 1,000 famous people in it? Lady Gaga, Trevor Noah talking about like which Pokemon character they like the most because it's most like them. Like, of course, Lady Gaga's is the one that sings its way through troubles or something. And yes, Jigglypuff. Caitlin's like, is she Jigglypuff? Me too.
Yeah, I don't.
Me too, Jigglypuff.
I don't know. My Pokemon is the turtle because I think he's slow and I like the slow ones. I looked up Hamilton Heights is below Washington Heights, but it does not extend all the way across Manhattan Island. So
True.
there is a part of Hamilton a part of Harlem that connects with Washington Heights.
Okay, probably the east side.
East side?
Because I think that Hamilton Heights is the west side.
West side?
I don't know much about this shit. I'm just saying that's where I was freezing my ass off last week. So
last week? No. All right. So here's the other thing that I want to introduce, and we don't have to do this every episode, but I kind of like doing this. So I feel like the world is going about as normal when there's so much chaos going on. And I don't feel like we talk about it enough. So, new segment. Document 158 of the Epstein files. I feel like we should call out some sons of bitches while we're here.
With the caveat that we're just talking about what's on that page and we have no knowledge of anything else.
I am just reading from the documents, and if your name is in them, it's up to you to explain why it's in there, not me.
Before we jump into this, I must ask you, since it was Valentine's Day recently, did you see like the Pam Bondi Valentine's Day card?
Yeah, I saw it.
God,
people were posting
hilarious.
up like different ones, but the Pam Bondi one was cracking me up.
Oh, it cracked me up. Anyway, go ahead. 158 of the Epstein documents.
158 of the Epstein files is a transcript of a deposition involving Stacy Plaskett, discussing her professional background and interactions with Jeffrey Epstein. For those who don't know, Stacey Plaskett is the delegate of the U.S. House of Representatives from the U.S. Virgin Islands. Jeffrey Epstein had a house in the Virgin Islands, so she claimed in her deposition that the reason she was interacting with him is because he was one of her constituents. He gave her a donation totaling $5,400 in 2016, which she returned, she donated to a women's shelter after people gave her shit about it. Like, she kept the money, and then people are like, what the hell are you doing? That's money from a pedophile and sex trafficker. And she says, oh, you know what? You're right. I'll donate it.
Oh, you're right. Now, educate me. When was he arrested?
The first time? 2008, I believe.
Okay. So I just wanted to keep that in context. He was arrested
This was almost
for
a
sex trafficking in
later.
2008.
He was a convicted pedophile in the late 2000s, like 2007, 2008. This is 2016. She took the donation and was like, I don't know. What are you talking about? I had no idea. Yeah.
Now, I have another question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sometimes I just have really stupid questions. $5,000 doesn't sound like a lot.
5,400.
Is it a lot? Is it a lot? Oh, never mind. My bad. In like a state representative race, is that a lot of money?
Probably for the Virgin Islands, I think so, because it's not a straight up because obviously it's a territory, so they have a delegate, but they don't have voting power. So I think that's a lot for somebody who just kind of says, "Hey, I represent the Virgin Islands. Can you guys build a school next to Jeffrey Epstein's house?"
Also, it's if I were a representative, at a place called, I don't know, Virgin Islands, I might not accept money from a pedophile.
No.
I mean, I'm not in that situation, so I can't tell you for sure.
I don't.
But I think.
I don't work for SNL, but these skits just write themselves these days.
They should do something like this, and every episode they should have this. They should do a skit where they reenact. I don't want to.
Well, maybe not reenact.
No. That's where they do like a reading of.
Yeah.
You know, they have whoever the host is do a reading of, and it's not to not to make fun or poke fun of the situation, but to draw attention to it.
Yeah.
It's. What you're saying is right. It's just we're just going about normal life as if the United States government didn't just release the names of all of the victims or many of the victims while redacting the names of the perpetrators and then acting like it's okay because, hey, the stock market's over 50, which it's not even anymore, is it?
No. Because she said that, the world said, fuck you, Pam Bondi. We're dropping it below 50,000.
My brother keeps sending me these memes of like terrible situations in history with people saying, God. But it's okay.
Yes.
The stock market's over 50,000. Today's was Jackie Kennedy in the car climbing towards the back seat yelling, "It's okay, everybody. The stock market's above." Yeah, come on.
It's just,
come on.
Yeah. It's what makes it even more infuriating is the contrast of how the U.S. is just going about like nothing happened, and then the rest of the world is like holding investigations and forcing people to resign. I hear Germany and France, whatever, because obviously they had investigations going on too. They released all of the documents that they were able to get their hands on unredacted. I mean, the victims' names they redacted, but they released everything. And
because they're not dicks.
I mean, I hate, because I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not a fan of conspiracy theorists, but I find it funny that Germany and France released the documents this morning, and then Twitter goes down. Twitter is down for a few hours this morning.
Well, I mean, look, there's so many things I want to say and talk about, but like, I saw a comedian recently, and the comedian said, that Zuckerberg, she's like, Zuckerberg pulls my tweets or pulls my my post. And so I don't know what's all getting out there. So I'm going to tell you live because they can't stop me from saying that. So I don't doubt for a second.
Yeah. I'm fed up with it. I'm getting rid of my Facebook.
How will I message the links to you?
You have my email. But yeah, I'm so done with. I'm so infuriated. Like, I don't know what to do, but I feel like we need to do something.
Yeah. Well, look, I got rid of Paramount.
Well, I know what
we
need to do, but I can't say what we should be doing.
Do not.
I think we don't know what we should be doing.
But your face just turned the color of my shirt, and I want you to keep your mouth shut. Anyway, we're still on number 158. Or is there more from the page that you'd like to read?
Not from me.
Okay.
But stay tuned for next week when we find out what's on the Epstein Files page 159.
On a heavier note.
Yeah.
As if there is one. Okay, so here you go. 158.
Yeah.
I'm going to pronounce this because I looked up how to pronounce this, and it's not like it looks. So here we go. Zhou Yanchao.
Yeah. I know Joe.
Just lost a chess match. Would you believe that the 158 chess matches before that, he won? That was his winning streak, 158. It was the longest in history.
Way to go, Joe.
So good for you.
We did it, Joe.
It looks like a person who doesn't look it up might say his name was Zhao, but it's pronounced Joe. Zhou Yanchao.
Okay. Of course.
All right. World. This is recent. No, that was recent. This thing that happened just last week. That guy finally just lost. World record speed skier Simon Billy traveled 158 miles per hour going on a downhill ski jump.
Oh, all right.
It's actually a type of downhill jump or downhill skiing that was in the Olympics once, but hasn't been back. And probably because people travel 158 miles an hour without any. Most people get to 120-ish, I think it said, but he got to 158 and said that it's just a crazy feeling. I was like, well, that's fascinating. All right, here we go. 158th episode of Friends.
Oh,
I can't speak today.
Okay.
Let's do a podcast. I can't talk.
For the last 10 episodes, I feel like I throw this one out there, and I know I'm going to be right.
I think you're going to be right because I think you said it last time.
Oh, it's the one where everybody's up, where nobody can sleep.
The one where they're up all night. Yeah.
Yes, finally.
And it's funny the reasons why. Do you remember all of the reasons why?
Yes, I do. Okay, so Phoebe's up because her smoke detector. Oh, sorry.
But there's a reason, right? This all happens after they all go watch.
Oh, they're all on the roof to watch the comet.
Yeah.
In the sky. Which doesn't end up showing up. So they're all like, listen, it's late. We're all going home and going to bed. So Phoebe goes home and her smoke alarm won't stop going off. So she's going through all these ways, like she's wrapping it up in a blanket. She's hitting it with a hammer. She can't get it to stop. She eventually wraps it in a blanket and throws it down the garbage chute. And the fire department shows up and she's like, they're like, you threw your smoke alarm down the garbage chute. And she goes, you don't know it's mine. And they show the blanket that she wrapped it in, and it says, property of Phoebe, not Monica.
And there's a quote from that I was looking at where she's telling it like, why are you still working? How is this possible? And while she's yelling at it, it beeps, and she's like, don't you interrupt me.
Monica and Chandler go to bed and they can't sleep. So, Chandler can't sleep. So he goes through a series of reading books and trying to heat up milk to fall asleep and ends up waking Monica up. And it's a back and forth with them. I believe that at one point they try to have sex and Monica falls asleep during.
Yeah. So here's an interesting tidbit about that, I guess.
Yeah.
She's talking to him about him reading like some sort of Archie comic book thing during that time. There's something about that.
Oh, yeah. She wants him because he's trying to sleep, so he reads her book because he goes, it's that boring one with the two girls on the cover, but he gets invested in it. And he says, "Oh, weren't you bummed when the other sister died?" And she goes, "The other sister died?" And he says, "Yeah, but I mean, in the book I'm reading." And she says, "The other sister dies in Archie and Jughead."
Yeah. So then the interesting thing about that I saw is that then later, the guy that plays Ross's son was in
Yeah, he was
Riverdale.
in Riverdale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else you got?
Rachel and Tad have to go back to the office because Rachel had papers that had to be faxed, and she says she gave them to Tad, and Tad said she never gave them to him, and back and forth. Ends up Rachel never gave them to him. And then, Joey and Ross get
best
trapped
one.
on the roof and have to climb down the fire escape. And they're deciding, because they have to crawl down one of Ross has to climb down Joey, and he's like, should we climb down fronts or what do you say?
He's like,
Face to face or ass to face?
yeah.
And he's like, face to face. So when he gets to his crotch, he's like, I don't think we thought this through.
Do you know I do that? And like, if I'm passing somebody I know at a theater and I have to go by there, I ask, like, you know, you want the ass or the other thing?
Yeah.
I didn't want to. I don't know. I'll say fuck and shit, whatever on here, but I didn't want to say dick.
Penis. So yeah, I'm so glad that we finally got that one out of the way. I've been talking about it for like 10
You're gonna be
episodes.
lost next week. You're gonna know. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Here we go. There's no way in hell you're getting this movie. I'm just gonna tell you what it is.
Yeah, just tell me.
The Umbrellas of Cherbourg. I didn't look that one up. By Jacques
Sheboygan?
Demy, 1964.
What is the deal with all these fucking French films being in the 150s?
I don't know. They weren't good enough for the 100s. I don't know.
Aw.
All right, here we go. You might get this.
Sorry, I licked my bottle for those who are watching the video.
Yeah, I'm so glad I was reading my paper. It just makes me uncomfortable, that's all. With the pleasure you get in which licking. I get it though. I mean, if you had like chocolate syrup on something.
Well.
All right, here we go. 158th greatest director ever.
I bet he's
according
French.
to Cinema Archive. Yeah. Yes. But you might understand. All right, so here we go. Here are some movies. A Very Long Engagement. Amelie.
Oh, that's a good movie. I don't remember who directed it, but that's actually a really good movie.
And bizarrely, Alien Resurrection and several aliens.
Okay, this is going to be a hot take, which any fan of the Aliens film franchise is going to freak out when they hear this. I think Alien Resurrection is one of the best Alien movies. I love that movie. It's like one of the most panned. People hate it. I'm sure it has like a 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. I love that movie. It's got Sigourney Weaver and it's got Winona Ryder, and it's this weird, like there's an alien, half human, half alien, creepy alien monster born. And it is just, I love that movie so much.
Is it the child of Sigourney Weaver and the alien? Because
yes!
They have like a love scene and she's like,
yes! It is so weird and so good. And I love that movie, and I know anybody who loves alien movies is probably thinking you're an idiot.
I gotta tell you, that first one, scariest as anything. Well, other than the remastered version of The Exorcist, which, by the way, there is never a reason for a demon child, to run like backwards down the stairs on its head. It's unnecessary.
The fact they didn't keep that in the original blows my mind because it's such a freaky scene.
Prove it happens, or don't put it in a movie. Anyway, do you know this person's name?
No, I'm sure his first name is like Jacques or Luc.
Jean-Pierre.
Jean-Pierre. That's what I thought it was.
Jean-Pierre Jeunet.
Yeah, that sounds French.
Do you want to hear some interesting tidbits about this one?
I
found this one actually very interesting. Well, he was actually developing a big screen adaptation of Life of Pi for many years, written the screenplay and all that stuff, but then stopped the project because of he thought it was going to be too expensive to do, so he stopped the project.
Do you know that's sad because Ang Lee directed it? They eventually made a movie, Life of Pi.
Mhm.
Ang Lee directed it, and he won an Oscar for it.
Yeah.
This poor guy could have won an Oscar.
Well, if he was, maybe his would have been shit.
Would he have been as well? Not if Alien Resurrection has anything to say
I mean,
about it.
unless Sigourney Weaver and the tiger had a half human tiger baby,
He probably would have cast Sigourney Weaver as the tiger and Winona Ryder as the little Indian
and then
boy.
the dude in the raft would have been the actual Tiger King. All right, so here you go.
Yeah.
Another tidbit about him is that he was offered to direct Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, but he turned it down and said that most of the creative decisions for that project had already been taken and he had very little to add, so he turned it down.
That's interesting because Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. No, I'm thinking of a different movie. I'm thinking of Azkaban. Was directed by.
I was hoping you were going to say. I was thinking of a different movie, Back to the Future 3.
Yes, I was thinking of the creative differences they took with Weekend at Bernie's 4. Bernie busts it out. Yeah, I'm glad that the people who directed Harry Potter directed the ones that they directed, because the first two was Christopher Columbus, not the guy who they claim discovered America, but the guy who directed Mrs. Doubtfire. And then the third one was, I can't pronounce his name, but he's an Oscar-winning director. But I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. But he's a great director. And then the rest of them were directed by that one British guy. And I just feel like all the right people directed them. They were very good movies. Although I'm kind of looking forward to the series on HBO Max, because they're going to be faithful to the books and the movies were not. Caitlin, I see you shaking your head. The movies were good, but they were not faithful to the books. And I don't want to be that guy who's like, the books are better than the movie. But the books are so much better than the movies.
I didn't read the books. Do you know why?
Because you don't read?
Yes. And when I do read, I want the words to be real words.
Some of them are.
I want my demon
Harry
children
and
to walk
Potter
like
are
normal
both
demon
words you can
children
find
walk,
in
and
a
I want
dictionary.
books to have real words, made up words. What's a hogswort? I know what a hogswort is. It's not school. Anyway.
I'll tell you what, as somebody who is currently enrolled at Hogwarts in Hogwarts Legacy, it is such a badass school, and I'm like a level 7 wizard, so you better watch it.
You know what I think? I think it was when I got to the word Hogsmeade, I just said, that's it. I'm done.
Oh my god.
Just making shit up now. You're just putting sound a muggle. What's a muggle?
You.
What's a muggle with you?
You're a muggle.
That's another dad joke for you. Yeah. What are you?
Oh my god.
You're like this with your wine, like laughing at me. You're a muggle.
I'm a wizard.
Oh.
I'm a wizard. It's funny you made that joke because I have when my family was here, I have a mala that I wear, like the meditation beads that Buddhists use. So they're called malas. So I was wearing one, and every one of my family members, they'd come up, they'd say, "Oh, hey, what's that?" I was like, "It's a mala." And they would say, "What's a mala?" I was like, "Nothing. What's a mala with you?" And then I would laugh. They didn't think it was funny.
That.
I thought it was hilarious.
Hey, do you want to know another movie he declined to direct?
Yes.
Hellboy.
That went on. Guillermo del Toro went on to direct that. This French guy turned down every movie that was eventually picked up by like a great Hispanic director. Sucks to be you, Frenchie.
I mean, well, he is the 158th greatest director of all time.
I mean, I do love Alien Resurrection. I don't know if you remember that from 5 minutes ago, but it is a great movie.
That's all I got.
That's it?
That's it for 158.
Beautiful.
How's your week?
My
Tell
week
me about your ceiling tits. Everything
okay.
Everything good there?
My week was actually, it had a lot of good happen for me, not so much for other people. So with everything, it's just been a rough week for some people, and namely those people are the people who own my building, because I did something. I called 311. Okay, so we'll start there. I actually have this on my list of things to talk about. I have this at the bottom, but I'm going to talk about it at the top. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, as we all remember, tits hanging from my ceiling filled with water. They came, they popped it. They said the Russian girl's upstairs. Oh, not a good time. So come back later. So it's a Saturday. They put a bucket under the drip and they said, we'll come back Monday. We're going through this. They eventually, after a week and a half, are able to get upstairs and fix the leak. Then they say, we will fix your ceiling once it dries. So I get a message from my, because we have an app to pay our rent and put like work orders and stuff in. I put a work order through the app. I get a message from the app that says, we have scheduled you for, I won't say the dates, but like the times and everything, but because I don't remember them. But it was on a date. We were scheduled for this date, and it's your day off. Because they said, when's your day off? And I said, this day. And they said, okay, we'll come that day. I'm here all day. I don't go out. I don't do anything. And they don't show up.
That's enough to really piss you off, right?
I was so pissed off.
I purposely sat all day in this great city waiting on you to do this thing that you said you were going to do.
Anyway,
what is that from?
Hamilton.
Is it?
Mr. Hamilton Heights.
Oh. Touche.
So spent my whole day off hanging around the apartment waiting for them to show up. They don't show up. So I sent a message to them. Hey, apartment 4A, you never showed up. And I put in the message, if I don't hear from you, I'm contacting the city. So the next day I was off, and I was like, you know what? I'm not waiting around for them. I'm going to go live my life. So I went out and did stuff. We'll talk about that in a minute, what I did, because I did some kind of cool stuff that I think was cool. So I get a message from them on the app, and it says, we have rescheduled your service technician. He will be out on this day. That day, I'll say that day because I remember that day, that was Valentine's Day. Now, at this point, I've already called 311. Now, I learned some interesting things about 311 because you get one of those little call voice operators.
Now, for those listening, real quick.
Oh, yes, 311 is the city. It's New York City.
It's Mondami's personal cell phone number.
It's Mondami, and you say, Mr. Mondami, I have this problem, and he goes, we will fix it. I don't know why I did him like Obama, but he's like our Obama. So I called 311 and a lady answers and I tell her everything that's going on. And she says, that is crazy. And I said, thank you. Thank you for validating me because I too think that is crazy. So she says, I will get this submitted and a city inspector will reach out to you. I was like, okay. So I get a message from them that on Valentine's Day, I am off, by the way, on Valentine's Day. My manager apparently has a sense of humor. I have no one in my life, but she's like, take the day. Go find a love. So I'm sitting here.
You're
waiting.
Old. You must be married with 4 kids. Take the day.
So I'm sitting here. By the way, the repair people never show up on Valentine's Day. But guess who does? The city inspector. Knock at the door. I think it's them to fix the ceiling. I open it up. And if I asked you or any one of our listeners to draw what you think a New York City inspector who lives out in Long Island looks like, this is the man you would draw. I swear to God, Tony Soprano was standing at my door and he's like, you called for the city inspector? And I said, I sure did. And he just stared at me. And I was like, because I'm sitting there with the door open, and he goes, can I come in? And I was like, oh, my apologies. Yes, please come in. He was like a vampire. He was waiting for me to invite him in. And I was like, oh, yes, please come in. And he steps in and he goes, show me to the hole in the ceiling. So I said, kitchen is this way.
Show me. Like, dude, you can see it from the door.
It's a tiny apartment. But granted, he's never been here. He doesn't know where everything is. So I take him into the kitchen. And he looks up and he goes, yep. And I said, yeah? And he goes, that's a fine. And he flips his notebook open and starts writing in his notebook. And I said, yeah. give him a fine. And he's like, you also in the complaint, you said that there was a leak in your bathroom. And I said, yeah. I was like, it's leaking in the bathroom. Let's go look at that. So I opened the bathroom door and he looks in and he's like, ooh, that looks bad. I was like, yeah. And I said, that's like the 4th time. And I've told them I hear leaking in the walls, like dripping water in the walls. And then within 5 minutes, it starts leaking through my ceiling. And he goes, so you've told them multiple times? I said, yeah. He goes, sounds like a fine to me, and starts writing in his notebook again. I am getting like really excited. Like I want to go work for the city and be this guy.
There's a crack over here.
I was like, come look at this. So he's like, literally, because I only complained about the ceiling falling in the kitchen and the leaking in the bathroom. So he goes, all right, I've got those documented. He goes, while I'm here, is there anything else you want to show me? And I said, sure. So I showed him the window that won't close. And he goes, you know what that means? That's a fine.
Oh my God.
He's having way too much fucking fun with this. So he starts asking me, he goes, what about your smoke detectors? Do they work? And I said, yeah, they work. And he goes, all right. He goes, what about your fire
Then he takes a
escape?
baseball out. He cracks it and he goes,
Not anymore.
Not anymore. That's a fine.
So he goes, what about your fire escape? I said, no, the fire escape's fine. The window opens. I can get out if I need. And he goes, okay. And then he looks over at my door and he goes, do you know how to get out in case of a fire? And I said, yeah, I just go out the fire escape. He goes, and he taps my front door. He goes, there's supposed to be a sticker here that explains how you use it. That's a fine. And he jots down. And then he goes, all right, I'm going to go. I'm going to submit these. And they're going to have, I think he said 3 to 5 business days to fix all the issues that they're being fined for. And he looks at my front door again. He goes, if I open the front door, do you think it's going to stay open or will it close on its own? And I said, I'm pretty sure it stays open.
It's supposed to close on its own.
Yes. He goes, all doors, apartment doors are supposed to close on their own. He goes, let's test it out. And he opens the door and it just sits there and he looks at me and goes, you know what that means? And I said, a fine. I love this guy. So
it's like a game show.
Yeah. So he wrote up all these fines and I said, really quick before you go, there are cracks all over the walls. He goes, yeah, that's normal. I can't find them for that. I was like, okay. But he fined them for everything else. That was 2 days ago. So I'm waiting to hear from them because they have 3 to 5 business days to come fix this shit.
They're probably going to call you and they're going to be like, hey, we were going to send somebody out to fix this, but we have to pay a bunch of fines all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a while.
So I talked to Chris and I was like, listen, obviously we're not renewing the lease here because first of all, the place is falling apart. Secondly, I don't think they want us here anymore because we just cost them a shit ton of money. But they called me. And I thought they were going to be like, oh, we're so sorry, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, hey, we noticed your lease is up in a few months. If you're renewing, here's what your new rent will be. Now, we're in a pre-war building, so it's like it's rent stabilized. So they can only increase their rent by a certain percentage. And I was talking to the people at work, and apparently what they told me my new rent was going to be is higher than the percentage they're allowed to charge. So you know what that means? A fine.
Now you got me doing it.
I know. So I kind of want to call my new friend and be like, dude, I got some more info for you. But we're going to see. I'm not staying here, obviously, which is a bummer because the bodega downstairs has learned my order. I walk in there and they start making it. And I was like, I'm going to have to start that all over again now. But anyway.
But you're going to get that place because you're complaining. That place is going to be nice and fabulous. So just,
oh, yeah.
You know,
maybe I'll
let
stay.
somebody know,
We'll
and
see.
they'll just take over and they'll have a really nice place. It's sort of like when you're in a bad relationship and you fix the person, but it's too late for your relationship.
It's too late for me.
And they're great for the next person.
Like, you're welcome. Invite me to the wedding. So the day after they were supposed to come fix it, and I decided to have a day for myself, I was like, it was still cold outside, but it's for you Floridians, this is going to sound cold, but for us up here, it's been like in the teens and in the low 20s. So last week, it got up into the low 40s.
Oh my gosh. Were you swimming?
That's basically summer weather. Yeah. I went, people were out like doing spring activities like it was, like they hadn't seen the 40s in decades. So I got dressed up in my fancy Sunday best and I went outside and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to, I haven't been to Central Park since it started snowing because the snow in the city, I think we talked about this.
Yeah,
It turns this
gross.
ugly gray color. It's so
And it's
gross.
like icebergs because they
Yeah.
sort of make. But are those gone? Are the
Some
icebergs
of them,
gone?
most of them. There's a couple of icebergs here and there, but it's mostly gray slush. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
But Central Park is like, it's what you think of when you think of like snow and trees and nature. It's absolutely beautiful. So I was like, I'm going to go spend the day at Central Park. So I go to Central Park, and on my way there, I pass by a place. I see a sign on the front. It says the soup kitchen. And yeah,
No soup for you.
I didn't connect the dots until I walked up to it. But the soup kitchen is what the soup Nazi from Seinfeld is based off of.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize that until I walked up, and they sell soup mugs that say no soup for you.
That's cute.
So I didn't buy any then because, money tight right now. People ain't buying boots like they used to.
Don't you wish you could find people and then get
Huh?
money and then go? Like, don't you wish you could find people for something and then they write you a check and then you go buy a mug?
But I am going to go buy one of these mugs because they're like big soup mugs that says no soup for you. So I want a couple of those. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to get some soup and I'm going to go to Central Park. So I went there and I got the lobster bisque. For those who have seen the episode, lobster bisque is what George wanted. And when he opens the bag, he's like, you didn't give me bread. And they snatch his soup away. I did not ask for bread because I was like, oh, I'm snatching my soup. So I got there and I opened my bag. And what you know, there's a chunk of bread in there and an apple with my soup. So I go to Central Park and I sit down. And when I tell you this soup was like orgasmic, it was so good. It had giant chunks of lobster in it. And it was just the most delicious soup. It was amazing. So I ate the soup. And then I was so full from the soup, I didn't eat the bread. But I don't know if you've ever fed the pigeons and the squirrels in Central Park. They come up to you. So
yeah,
people, you're going to see photos of me probably on Instagram because I started ripping chunks of bread off and tossing them in front of me. And squirrels came up and they would pick it up and they would eat them. And then the squirrels were like, I want more bread. So they hopped up on the bench and sat right next to me. And I fed squirrels bread. And as I'm feeding them bread, people are walking by filming it and taking photos. Like I'm that old pigeon lady from Home Alone 2. They're like, it's the squirrel man of Central Park. So I fed the squirrels my
the
bread.
squirrels would scare me. The pigeons not
Oh, really?
so much. Like, yeah, I mean, pigeons are like, yeah, because they have teeth and nails and.
You know what's funny?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you that that would scare me, and then wait until you hear my story. I'm gonna tell you later. You're gonna be like,
okay,
that didn't scare you.
Chris is the opposite. Like he's fine with squirrels. Chris hates pigeons. He sees pigeons like rats. They're rats with wings. He hates pigeons.
But they're not gonna attack you, and if they do, well, I guess they have claws, right?
I mean,
they used to transport information. They have a very important job in society.
Yeah, but I mean, squirrels also.
And when the overlords like shut down all the internet to keep all the people stupid because we're
all we're gonna have is the
horrible
pigeons.
regime, the only way we're gonna talk is pigeons.
Yeah,
and smoke signals.
I have between you and Chris, I have no problem with pigeons and I have no problem with squirrels. I love them both, and I say this as somebody who's not like a huge animal person. I love animals. I just don't want to take care of any. It's just a lot of work. So I fed the squirrels and the pigeons, and I'm sitting there and I'm like having fun with these animals, and a light bulb goes off. I was like, I'm not far from the Central Park Zoo. Let's go look at more animals. I have the day off. So, and I have the NYC ID card, which gets you into the Central Park Zoo for free. So I go to the Central Park Zoo, and you lived here for many years. I'm sure you've been to the Central Park Zoo. I'm talking to you, Rick.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
have you been
never when I mean, Is it open? I don't think
Yeah.
it's never been open.
It's
when
open
I've been there.
24/7.
Like even
No, you lived here for years. What do you mean it wasn't open?
I thought you meant like when I visit. No,
Oh, no,
I thought
no.
it was a used to be thing. I actually thought that it had been closed down and that Madagascar was about like the old days.
Oh,
and
really?
Not like it. I don't think I've ever been there. I've never seen it open.
Oh, it is the tiniest zoo I have ever seen in my life. But
then maybe I've been there. Maybe I thought I was going to the bathroom and
there
I just saw
are two
like a turtle
interesting
running
aspects
by.
about this zoo that I thought was fascinating. The first is they have a tropical biodome there. So it's in a completely enclosed tropical environment that houses birds and lizards and snakes. Now, the snakes and the lizards are encased in cages, but the birds fly in this biodome just free willy-nilly.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure, yeah.
Where, like, street-wise is it located? Like, do you know? Like, if
do you know where
were
the
to...
Balto statue is?
No, see, I don't know where any. I don't know, like, what, like, because you enter at like 59th. You enter into
Yes.
So, like,
you
how
enter Central
deep
Park.
into Central Park is this?
Like 5 blocks.
Oh, that's it. Okay,
It's
well,
on
then
the west
I've been
side.
that far into it.
Yeah. I'm sure you passed it because it looks like a nice little castle-y house thing, like 5 blocks in. But I go into, and it's
funny. I
frozen.
forgot I lived in New York for 3 years.
Right? So there's snow everywhere, obviously, because we had a big blizzard. I'm all bundled up because it's like, I don't know, 30 degrees at this point. So I'm like, looking at the animals. Sorry, the hiccups. Had a little too much wine.
Boo.
So I go to this door and it's got a sign above it that says tropical biosphere or whatever it says. So I open the door and it's like this, and it's sort of like when you come into my building, you have an entry door and then you have like a diffusion chamber and then you go through another door. So I go in and it's kind of hot in there. It's a little warmer. And it's like, oh, it's kind of warm in here. And the other door closes and I open the door into the biodome. And I am hit with like the middle of August Florida humidity. Like I just instantly start sweating. I'm stripping my jacket and everything off. It's so fucking hot. And I go in and it is a tropical rainforest in the middle of frozen New York. And I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. So I'm walking around and I'm like down to my t-shirt and I'm carrying my stuff with me. And I'm looking over this bridge at trees and birds. And this big blue bird flies up into my face and sits right next to me. Scared the shit out of me. I screamed because I didn't realize at this point that the birds could just come up to you. And it lands right next to me and I screamed. And then the bird flew away because I scared it.
Yeah, the bird flew up and it was like, hey, squirrel man, did you save any bread
hey.
for me?
And I was like, ah! And it said, ooh, sorry, queer. And then it flew away.
Yeah, you screamed. It was like, oh.
It was
another one of those.
So I walked around there, and all I kept thinking was, during the dead of winter, when people are like, "Oh my god, it's so cold," then you just need to come to the Central Park Zoo and then walk around the little tropical biodome, and you'd be good. It was enjoyable. I felt like I was back in Florida. It was nice.
Right on.
So I left, and then, the opposite of a tropical biodome, they had the penguins there. And I went and looked at the penguins, and they have because I went to the gift shop first because I like gift shops, and they had the and Tango Makes 3 book there. That's where the penguins were. It happened.
You won't find it in Florida. If you want the book, you got to go to New York.
Where they accept, that's true.
Where everyone except for the bluebird accepts homosexuals.
In fact, he landed me. He went, "Bird, the faggot penguins are that way," and I said, "How dare you? How dare you?
Hey, bluebird, you can't use that word.
You homophobic bluebird." So I go.
Aren't you supposed to be red, bluebird?
So I go to the penguin encounter, excited because I was like, I want to see Roy and Silo and Tango. Not in my head, not thinking this book was written like in 1999, and that penguins don't live very long.
How long do penguins live?
Not 20 years. So
I can't believe that they have penguins there, and Jen hasn't made me go to the zoo to see them. She loves penguins.
It's a bunch of penguins, and what are those birds that they have the like crooked beaks and they kind of look like penguins. They live amongst the penguins. They're in
Oh.
the Happy Feet movie.
Ugh.
Pangolins.
No. What are they?
Peng-
What did you s-
Pangolins? Penguins? Something like
No.
that. But they're the
My
flying
God, I
birds
used to
that kind
work
of
at
look like.
SeaWorld too. I know.
Anyway,
what
they
you're talking
have
about.
those there. So I go there, and there's a guy there who works there. And I was like, which one of the penguins are Tango, Roy, and Silo? And he says, oh, the gay penguins? And I said, yeah. And he said, yeah, they died. Puffers.
Puffins.
Puffins.
Puffins
Um,
stuff.
So he's like, they died. And I was like, what do you mean they died? And he's like, dude, that book was written like 25 years ago. And I was
What
like,
if he
how
was
long
like,
do
they're
penguins
characters
live?
in a book, you dummy?
But they were real.
Oh, okay.
They were real to me. So apparently they died. So I looked it up after I left, and they really need to write a sequel book to this. But I'm going to tell you real quick the story, but it's really depressing. So in Tango Makes Three, Roy and Silo were these gay male penguins who formed a relationship, and the zookeepers saw that they had formed a relationship. So they gave them an egg. I thought they found the egg, but they gave them the egg from a couple that couldn't get it to birth, so they abandoned it. And they gave it to, I know, right? So they gave it to Roy and Silo, and they sat on it and did the hibernation thing, and then it was born, and Tango was born, and it made 3, and they were a happy little gay family. And then later on, Tango got older. They don't mention this in the book. This is what I think the sequel book should be. Tango entered into a lesbian relationship. I bet you didn't know that. Yeah.
Ah.
Tango experimented with ladies. So while they were raising Tango, Roy and Silo were attacked by other pairs of penguins who forced them out of their nest. Like, get out of here, queers. You can't live in our neighborhood. And they forced them out of their nest. And it was so traumatic that Roy and Silo separated. Yeah.
I have so many
Right?
questions.
So,
First of all,
oh, yes, go ahead.
did Roy and Silo do anything else to piss off the penguins other than
How
be gay?
dare you blame the gays?
No,
How
I'm just-
dare you, sir?
What I'm trying to say is that maybe it's not because they were gay. Maybe they were major assholes. Like maybe they were head of the HOA and treated everybody like shit, and they were like, "Get out," and it had nothing to do with them being gay.
Maybe JD Vance, or maybe they were just trying to live their lives.
Look, people tell me all the time I'm going to hell, and my response is yes, I am, but it's not because I'm gay. There's many other terrible things about me.
So it gets
Or many
worse.
things about me that are terrible. That's not what I meant. Oh my god, move on before I dig a hole.
The story gets so much worse. So Roy and Silo separate.
It gets worse.
Yeah. So then Roy dies. So it's just Silo and Tango. And then Tango dies. So Roy and Tango die, and Silo's left alone. So Silo hooks up with a female penguin named Scrappy, and they start a family together.
Well, that's not terrible.
He went back to the straight world because he was bullied into not being with his gay lover, who I'm just saying may have allegedly died of penguin AIDS.
Jesus.
How dramatic would that story be, right? I'm going to write this sequel book. It's going to be so good.
I mean, is that a thing?
I don't know. Cats get AIDS.
Cats
Why
get
can't
it.
penguins? Anyway. So, yeah, that was the depressing story I heard as I
just wanna
left
say,
the zoo.
This whole podcast derailed for like a good 10 minutes. But what an interesting story.
Yeah. So,
You know, the book is
Imagine-
never like real life.
no, it never is. The
It'll-
book is
that'll-
so much
that'll-
better than the real life.
It's like later on, like the movie we watched. It's not real life.
No. Oh, we'll get to that.
Real life is
Anyway,
good.
So I was dealing with that on top of my not having my ceiling fixed. So it was just a rough day for me and the penguins.
I don't know who had it worse.
But I did. They had a really cool hoodie that was on sale. So I got a Central Park Zoo hoodie that is so comfortable. So I got that. And then I was going to buy And Tango Makes Three, But then I read the story and I was like, I can't buy this book in good faith, knowing what the hell happened after this story.
I mean, when you said it was going to get worse, I was thinking like, Tango was going to start shooting heroin into his fin or something,
Right?
But
mean, he may have.
all he did was fall in love.
Maybe that's what killed him.
Look, if I died, I'd want Dylan to find
To meet a woman,
happiness.
to meet a nice
It doesn't matter.
lady and settle down.
I'm dead. Like, I don't care. See, like, it's in either case, if there's nothing when you die, what am I gonna care? Also, if there is a heaven and if I get to go there, what am I gonna care? I'm in heaven. It doesn't
True.
get better than that. So
I mean, let's
be
be
happy.
honest. We're not going to heaven.
Yeah, no way in hell.
Ooh, but if all the people they say are going to hell are going to hell, what a party that's going to be. Am I right?
Look, like, I don't know, if you're an eternal burning in hell, it doesn't sound fun. Also, it's like, if there's cool people down there, they're not going to let you room with them. I'm going to be in a room with where kids across the hall are screaming and crying, just like where our office used to be. And that's going to be like my purgatory. I just hope it's not like the good place. If it is the good place, then and I go to what I think is the good place, but it's actually the bad place, and they're torturing me with yogurt. Okay, put me there.
I love frozen yogurt.
I love frozen yogurt.
I hope my hell is hanging out with overly happy people while I eat frozen yogurt.
You know what my hell would be? Is to put me in the work with me, because I'm going to say a room name, and you're going to be like,
Sure,
what?
yeah.
Put me in a bathroom. Don't let me eat anything. And I'm standing on a scale, and the pounds keep moving up, even though I'm not eating anything,
Jesus.
and I'm trying to lose it. That would be hell for me. I'd be like, why is I gaining weight? I'm trying to,
Have you thought about talking to a therapist about your obsession with your weight?
I'm obsessed
Good
with
God,
it.
man.
I know. That's like when somebody called me fat once. They didn't call me fat. They just said something like, hey, it's good to see you're putting on pounds. And I was like, never say that to someone with body dysmorphia. I would immediately ran to the bathroom and threw up. Not true. I did not. I'm not making fun of the people that do. I'm just saying it is I should talk to a therapist. You're right. Anyway, what else did you do that week?
I find that most everybody should talk to a therapist. So that's my week. The only other thing I'm going to say, this will be more talked about next week, but at work, the CEO and president of the company of UGG is coming to visit us.
Oh my goodness.
So I am going to take this opportunity to pitch him some of my ideas for the company.
Do you know what would be really sad for you?
What?
Is if you get your schedule next week and the day he's there, they gave you the day off.
No. It's this week, and I already have the schedule.
Okay.
And she specifically put me on open tomorrow to greet them because she thinks I'm awesome. Yeah.
What if the
They love me
CEO's
then.
like, what's this old guy doing here?
Then I'll say, you son of a bitch, have you heard the story of Antago Makes 3?
You're like, listen, I'm a DEI times 3. I'm
Yeah.
old, gay, and a veteran.
Gay, and a veteran. Yep.
There you go.
Also, you don't know this yet, but I have the AIDS. And then I'll shake his hand real hard.
And don't make me call 311.
I got him on speed dial. My buddy Tony Soprano over there. He'll write you up a fine. Anyway, that was my week.
Right on.
How was your week?
I was busy. I was busy.
Good.
I'm gonna
So
try to
we
work
watched a movie. No, I'm just
Funny. No, I'm just kidding. I drove out to Tampa with Dylan to go see Anne Juliet again,
Oh,
but
that's
he hadn't
right.
seen it. So, and there were different cast members in it, and you know what? It made me really
From when you
appreciate-
saw it in Orlando?
Yeah, because they let because Joey Fatone lives in Orlando, right? They let him come back in
That's
and do
right.
the role he
Yeah.
did on Broadway, and because one of the understudies for Shakespeare is from Orlando, they let him do the role opening night, or maybe he did it the
Oh,
whole
I
run. I
gotcha.
don't know.
They
So,
did that with Aladdin when Michael James Scott came and did it for Orlando. Yeah.
So they did there, and that was great. But and these people were good. But they play the role differently, which I always find interesting because I feel like if I was involved in a show, I would say you do it the way, because you're not playing you doing the role, you're playing the role, and the role does this.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it was a different Juliet. It was an understudy. I don't know why there was an understudy.
Yeah.
But she had a voice that just slayed. She was great. The
Slade. Look at you using Slade.
I know, right? I'm awesome. I mean,
You
my
got
words
aura.
have aura. Uh, so the guy that played Shakespeare was a little bit more of a dick in it. It was a little interesting. But and the guy that played the Joey Fatone role, he was great, but it really made me appreciate Joey Fatone. And one thing, congratulations, Tampa. When the trans girl sang "I'm not a girl, not yet a woman," not one person laughed. Like in
Did they
Orlando,
laugh
they
in
all
Orlando?
laughed. Like, I was like, come on. So it was good. And of course,
You know what? I'm not surprised because I think I mentioned this last week. The documentary Melania, Orlando was one of the top places where that, but so was Tampa. It's one of the top places
come
where
on,
that
Tampa's
movie
way
was
more
watched.
conservative than
Yeah.
I think maybe they just didn't understand. They didn't know it was a trans girl.
Or
They
maybe
were just
everyone in
thinking,
Tampa
"You're
is
not
like
a
that one girl
You're
from
not yet a woman."
SNL where she's like, don't judge me, but maybe trans people aren't as bad as they're saying.
Oh, right. That scene was hilarious.
I love that skit.
That was
I
really
watch
good.
it all the time. It cracks me up.
Ryan
and
loved it,
Juliet?
of course. Ryan was obsessed
Of
with
course.
it, of course. And I knew he would like it. He wasn't sure he was going to go because, jukebox musicals have a bad rap. But I was like, you want to see this one.
Yeah.
So he loved it. But he totally disagreed with me in my assessment of Anne Hathaway. And I think most people would.
About Anne Hathaway? Remind me of your assessment.
Well, just that, like, she spends the whole show trying to rewrite Romeo and Juliet so Juliet can be free and do whatever she wants. But really, she wants Juliet to do what Anne Hathaway wants and is living vicariously through her and ends up then being the same overbearing person in Juliet's life that everybody else is. But I'm the only one who
actress
thinks
Anne
that.
Hathaway?
No, that's the name of there's a whole series of jokes about it. Anne Hathaway is the name of Shakespeare's wife. In fact, they make a joke towards the end of it where they say, he's apologizing for his behavior to her, and he says there will only ever be one Anne Hathaway, and then the audience laughs.
Yes. Okay. It's all. I feel like Celine Dion because it's all coming back to me now.
Every time I hear it, every time somebody says it's coming back to me, I don't think a person close to our ages can say it's all coming back to me now without saying, like Celine Dion, it's all coming back to me now.
She's my first
Which,
diva.
by the way, I believe that song was written by Meatloaf, was it not?
Was it?
I think it was.
I know the
It
video
sounds
was
very
inspired
Meatloafy, doesn't it?
by Meatloaf. That one video he did.
Maybe
the
we
one
can
where
convince
I
Caitlin
could
to
love
look
you,
it
but
up.
not like that, or something like that. I know the video was inspired.
I will do it. I'll do anything for love.
I would do anything
I like your
for
version
love,
of it, though.
but I won't do that.
I need you to rewrite the whole song with like that. All right, so Thursday, right? This is kind of fun. I almost had to beg people to go. Actually, Dylan didn't go to this. None of my begging made him go. But we went to see Kathy Griffin at the Plaza Live.
I bet Ryan did.
Ryan did not accept tickets to it. But here's the thing. And when it was over, he asked how it was, and I said it's a shame that the interview went so bad. Oh, Jim Steinman wrote it, not Meatloaf. My bad. Anyway, like it's such a shame that her interview with him for Watermark was so derailed and atrocious.
Yeah,
because everything that, like, her whole routine was just everything. It wasn't just like Hollywood gossip. It was like the first 15-20 minutes of the show was just like, all right, guys, here's what's really going on in Minnesota, and here's what you need to do to help. And she's really into it. And then that's when she went into the whole thing about, like, she thinks Zuckerberg is hiding her messages and stuff.
And I say this as somebody who will never like Andy Cohen. Ryan really needs to get over it.
She talked about Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper because she said that she did a show somewhere and she or something, or she did a video interview. I don't know what it was, but she specifically said, if I've got my feelings about Anderson and Andy and all of this, and she was not a fan of Andy Cohen at all.
Nor am I.
But she said, if you guys want to do something, you want to do something real, then get off the desk, go to Minnesota. If you
Yeah.
want to talk about in your show, you want to talk about how you're what's going on in real life, and you have this daily show, talk about what's going on in Minnesota. And then like after that, they both did that. Like
Yeah, I
and
was
so
going to say,
she-
I saw on TikTok that she had said that.
yeah.
And then, like, 2 days later, Anderson was in Minneapolis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's like, I'm not gonna say it was my video, but I'd like to think I had something to do with it. Her joke about Andy Cohen was just sort of like, yeah, it's your job to decide what shows are going to be on the air, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're hosting a show that's on the air every night. She's like,
Yeah.
but I guess people watch it, as long as you're doing good stuff, do good stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't understand how anybody has a conversation with her. It's like
With
people
Kathy
being
Griffin?
friends with us. It's like, I'm gonna talk about you on the podcast, so it's best to stay
Yeah.
away from me. So how does she have friends that
You
will
and I are
talk to her?
different in that, because there are, like, I have friends who I specifically tell them I won't talk about you on the podcast unless you give me permission. I won't talk about things like that. I do a lot of things that I don't even mention on this podcast because there are people who are like, I don't want you to talk about me on the podcast. Just don't bring me up. And I was like, okay. So there are people.
You can
and
still
I
tell the
differ in that.
stories. You just have to give them random names, like person one. Oh my God, she kept saying over and over again too, like man, person, child, dog, whatever those 5 words are.
Oh, yeah.
Like if she got lost in where she was, she'd be like, oh man, blah, 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 blah. And then she'd
It's
go
a
right.
cognitive test. Yeah.
It's hilarious. I thought she was really funny, and not just funny, but just really, she does have this knack. I think I've always said this about her shows. I've seen a couple of them, and it's been a long time since
Yeah.
I've seen one. But she has a knack for like talking to the audience and making you think she's just in your living room talking to you.
Yes.
And she's
Yes.
really good at that. And she's really good at connecting the dots.
Yeah.
It took her 45 minutes to tell a 2-minute story, but she kept, and the further she get away from it, she would just make her way back to it. Really great.
Yeah.
But there was
I
one.
gotta-
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, I was just gonna say, but between my rivalry with Andy Cohen and Ryan's with Kathy Griffin, I feel like he just caught her on a bad day.
Oh yeah.
Like, I feel like they would be able to smooth things over. I feel like I saw the real Andy Cohen, and fuck that guy.
I mean, she talks about her PTSD, and she suffers from
Yeah.
it, and she's triggered by certain things, and it whatever the circumstances was, that interview was triggering to her and lashed out. It doesn't negate the fact that Ryan probably now has PTSD from that. It's sort
Yeah.
of like, hurt people, as they say.
Oh my God. Put that on a pillow.
Put it on a mug that Jeremy won't buy because he's going down the street to buy a sweatshirt and a book. Look at him. I just would have chosen the mug. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
I get you. I get you.
So anyway,
In my defense, I don't think there were any mugs at the Central Park Zoo.
No, the soup
I don't
mug.
rec-
That's a good thing to get. But it's
Oh,
probably
that,
more,
yes.
That's what I meant. You didn't buy the soup mug, but then you bought
No,
the
no,
other
no.
thing.
At the time, it was cold, and I just wanted soup. But I am going to go back and get the
Yeah.
mug.
I just want to say real quick that she did this bit. She cannot be friends with this person anymore. I can't imagine. But she was talking about how RFK Jr. had an affair like a year ago or whatever. And
yeah.
there was a big scandal about it all. And people were like, it was sort of an internet or affair, like a virtual affair. But the big question was, did they ever meet in real life and do this in real life? And so the woman was getting offered book deals, and Kathy Griffin's like, we want to get to the bottom of this. Do the book deal. So anyway, she does the book deal. She records the audio, but she decides to do the audio in this like Marilyn Monroe-esque whispery kind of voice that's inaudible at times. So she was playing clips of it, and they would translate it for the audience and then talk about it. And that bit was the funniest thing. Like every time, like the next recording would come on, and she's like, "Hey," and like the more she would talk, the more Jen and I would laugh so hard, like tears laughing. Like it was a really good time. So
Yeah.
I thought she got the raw end of the deal. I think that
Absolutely.
I think it's probably because she was a D-lister, probably because she was a woman.
Oh,
know,
I
and-
have no doubt that a lot of that happened because she's a woman.
Yeah, and she was, and it destroyed her and for a
Yeah.
while. And I mean, but it's good to see she's starting to get gigs again and things are coming back for her. Because I've always been a fan, And one day their paths may cross where she has an opportunity to say, "Listen, it wasn't you, you know." Something
Yeah,
triggered me,
yeah.
and I'm working on it, and so I'm sorry we lashed out that way. That would be nice.
That
But
would be
we'll
nice.
see.
Also, Ryan can stop being a little baby. I'm just kidding.
Maybe to make sure he listens to you say that, we'll call this podcast Baby Ryan.
Yeah. I bet at this point in the podcast, Ryan hears that and he looks over at Wayne and he goes, "Fuck that guy. He should forgive Andy Cohen then."
We're an hour and 10 minutes in. He ain't sticking
He
around
ain't
that long.
listening.
If you don't mention his name in the first 3 minutes, he's gone. All right. So I played in a softball tournament this weekend.
Oh,
which
how'd you do?
It was okay. It wasn't my best performance, especially the last game. I was the last out of the tournament, which kind of sucked. But it's always a good time. I will say I'm just going to talk about Valentine's Day. It's because my brother went. We stayed at the same hotel. We did a trade out for a hotel there in St. Pete, and then
What hotel?
doesn't matter.
Okay.
And then. It was lovely. It was great. And I was always so grateful when they do a trade out. So thank you very much. You know who you are. Thank you. I appreciate it. And so then we went to, what was that?
Oh, it's my back scratcher.
I was like,
but I had
just
an
use
itch
your
on my
hand?
beard. No,
It's not on your back.
I had an itch
He
on
just
my
pulled out
beard,
this
and I just had it in my
extended
hand.
thing and started scratching his beard. That threw me off. Anyway, so Valentine's Day is the tournament, and it's on Saturday, and so you play the 3-round.
How did your husband respond to you playing softball?
My brother
on
took his
Valentine's Day?
wife, and I took my husband, and because it's Valentine's Day, my husband, who hates to go to softball games, came to the whole day. We played 5 games that day. But you never know how many you're going to play, so you never.
I bet he thought that was the best way to spend Valentine's Day.
Right. I mean, he was texting his friends the whole time, so it's fine. But we had like a really gross, like not gross, it was delicious, but bad food lunch. So when it came time for like dinner, none of us were really hungry. We had just gotten back and we all showered, and then we're kind of like, what are we going to do for dinner? But nobody wanted to eat dinner. So we just went to Bright Ice in St. Pete for ice cream. That was our Valentine's Day dinner, as we had ice cream. And all we did, we had ice cream, and then we talked about that one time that we saw that 8-year-old smoking crack across the street.
Jesus.
Do you remember that?
No.
Weren't you there? We went. It was like we had a retreat there. I know Danny was there.
I may have blocked it out for that traumatic 8-year-old smoking crack.
It was funny. It's funny because we were sitting there eating ice cream, standing outside this place, and across the street was like this abandoned auto repair shop or closed down auto repair shop, and there was this kid, and everybody thought he was smoking weed, and like, hey, look at that, look at you smoking weed, and I was like, no, you don't need
crack.
You don't smoke weed like that. Watch how he's doing it, and everybody's like, oh my god, he's smoking crack. Or it could have been, you know what? I don't judge. It could have been crystal meth. I don't know. Anyway,
that's better.
Anyway, I got to tell you this. I have to tell you, and I'll try to get it done real fast because this is the highlight of the whole week.
Sure.
The contractor says we're going to start working on your house. Like we're just going to start moving on it. We're going to start building everything we can while we wait for this variance to go through. And then once the variance goes through, it'll be like this, right? So we're going to do everything that we can do, and we're going to start on Monday. So I say to him, that's great, but I need you to be very careful. When you start cutting holes in walls, you need to protect the house from those hole openings because we have a rat problem in the attic. Mm-hmm. So he says, I got a guy for that. And I was like, you know what? I'm willing.
The phrase that is the most detrimental to all homeowners. I got a guy for that.
No, but I'm like, I'm willing to listen. So I talked to the guy. We're on the phone, and then he comes to meet at the house because he wants to look at the whole situation. And I love this guy because he talks like, he's like, yeah. This guy and I, we're like good friends. We go way back. We went to school together. We got this other guy that's a friend of ours. He's a plumber. We're really good. His mom makes the best lasagna in town, and blah blah. And this kind of thing. Like they all know each other.
Go back to the lasagna.
Yeah, right. Tell me about the lasagna. So Anyway, he says key things that make me like, he's got a smoke machine, right? All the things that this national company won't do: smoke machine, holes in walls, cameras, none of that. This guy's like, he's like, yeah, I found this one thing where there were these. I opened this cabinet door. There were 3 rats there. I closed the door. I went to get my gloves. I don't know why. Was he going to grab them and snap their bodies in half? I don't
Jesus.
know, because this guy's like seriously the rat guy. Like, he knows what he's doing. So he's like, yeah, and then I saw that they were gone when I got back, so I knew they were getting started. I cut a hole in the cabinet, found that the pipe was all cracked and open, and I sealed it up. Rat's gone. I was like, that's all I need to hear. You're hired. I don't care what it costs. Find this rat. So he shows up, and then because he brings his plumber friend with him, because he's like, when we find the problem, the plumber fixes the pipes. So they had to, so now while this is all going down, I'm playing softball in a different city. Jen's home alone, and she's listening to what they're saying, and she's texting the whole time. It's like, oh, they did the smoke test. They found smoke. They said it's all billowing above your bathroom and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, they just told me they're going to take off all the walls in the bathroom and that you're not going to be able to use it for a while. And I'm like, I don't care. Get rid of the rats, right? So then he's like, they're going to cut a hole in the ceiling. And then all of a sudden she's like, they're yelling, oh, shit. First of all, like, they start to cut things and like rat crap starts coming down, and she's like, the plumber said it's the most rat shit he's ever seen in his life. God. I'm like, this poor guy just showed up to fix a pipe and it's raining rat shit. So anyway, they cut this section of the ceiling, and they yell, oh my God, rat nest. They pull down this section. Look, we're gonna post the video of this, at least part of it, because it's insane. They just so happened to cut a section of the ceiling that right in the middle of the section they cut was this rat's nest. They pull it down, and they're like, oh my God, that dude's freaking out. This other guy's just holding it, and he's counting them, and there were 6 living baby rats and one dead one. And so then they found like that this thing that the national company put up there as like the getaway door, like the one-way door that they couldn't get back in, would get stuck and they could come in and out, and they were going up this pipe, and then they put this thing, like the other people put this thing on it that made it just this house for them to be protected while they dug into the attic, like all this crazy stuff. And this guy fixed it. Haven't seen a rat on a camera in days. All great. Right. But I'm going to tell you something that's a little gross. Now, I want you, I don't want what I'm about to say to dissuade anyone from using these people, because this guy is a rat god. And he deserves, I'm going to leave the best reviews. We're going to give it 3 weeks, and he's going to get the best reviews ever, because we're waiting to see if the mama comes back and if we've stopped it. But he was telling us that it's like a 3-week cycle. Like, you see all this, like we would go like a month and say, hey, we didn't hear anything. And then all of a sudden you hear a bunch of stuff. You catch 8 rats. 3 weeks later, you're like, oh, I don't hear anything. And then boom, they're all back. He's like, yeah, it's a cycle. Like, this is where they come. They have the babies. They terrorize your house. So they all leave. Everything's done. It was a couple grand to get it done, but it was necessary, so we did it. And then Jen finally gets to let the dogs outside because they've been inside all this time for like 5 hours. So they go outside, and she's on the phone with me telling me about all the craziness that happened. And all of a sudden she's like, Amber, get away from that. Come over here. And then she's like, what is in her mouth? Is that a pacifier? It was a baby rat.
No. Ew.
Somehow that bag of like all of the stuff that they had taken out of the attic ended up in the backyard, all over the place, like in this one section. And Jen was like flipping out. She did not
Amber
know
had
what
it
to
in
do.
her mouth.
Looked like a little pacifier, she said, and then it turned out to be a baby.
No.
A baby.
I know you love that dog, but no, the dog must die.
No, when I saw her, I said,
burn it with
"You
fire.
will not lick me until I brush your teeth 17 times."
God, no!
Isn't that crazy?
That's disgusting.
That poor
your
dog.
dog is disgusting.
My dog is beautiful and lovely and disgusting. Yes. Isn't that crazy?
Gross.
It's crazy that like the whole thing that they pulled out, and that they found it. They got to the point where they did the smoke test and didn't see any more.
Yeah.
Anything. And they actually fixed some stuff. So I really feel like it might be done. I might be.
This
I've said
reminds
this before,
me.
but I might be done.
Yeah, this reminds me of the end of that movie from the 80s, Poltergeist, where she's like, this house is clear. And then it's like, you know what? Let's make a sequel. And it's like, oh, shit, they're back.
But the house was clean. They just went to
I
other
hope
places.
the house is clear. Yeah, I hope the
I
house
hope
is
the
clear.
rats moved somewhere else. So anyway,
I hope they moved it to a high rise with Tom Skerritt.
so construction started today. They've
Awesome.
on
All
the
right.
house there. They cut out the door from the garage to inside the house where the bathroom's gonna all this stuff. It's
Beautiful.
moving. It's good. I'm excited.
Nice.
That was my week. Now let's talk about this
Beautiful.
movie we
Nice.
decided to watch.
All right, so we watched a movie. Now, I do want to say, I want to preface this with, we were looking for movies that were reaching like a annual milestone, like a 10-year anniversary or a 20-year anniversary.
Which is what we do when we don't know what to watch.
Yeah, when there's not a lot of, let's be honest, with the administration we have and the political climate, there's not a lot of queer movies being made. So we don't have like new movies to watch. So we go back and we're like 10 years, 20 years, 15 years, 12, 13, a baker's dozen. Let's check what happened a baker's dozen ago. But we went with 10, 2016, and we came across this movie that I don't know if you saw this when it came out. I did not catch it. I had heard about it.
Yeah,
And I was
I
like,
knew it existed.
yeah. And I was like, I should check this out. Never got around to checking it out. But we decided to watch it.
And I'm surprised that I didn't because James
because
Franco.
it's definitely in your wheelhouse.
It's James Franco and being gay. And
Yeah.
I'm in love with James Franco. So
It's not just James Franco.
I know.
It's Molly Ringwald. It's Alicia Silverstone, Christian Slater. It's a really good cast of people from the 80s and 90s who
and some Disney
around
star who decided
2016
to
where
play
we're
a porn
like,
star.
hey, what's been going on with them? But then Garrett Clayton, who was in a bunch of Disney stuff. More specifically, he was in the Teen Beach movies, which apparently were a big deal back on Disney back in the day. He was in the TV show Jessie for a couple of episodes on Disney. And he was one of those Disney tweens who were like, oh, what's he going to do? And he was like, I need to break out of this cookie cutter clean image and I need to do something crazy. And what he did was a movie called King Cobra about a gay porn star by the name of Brent Corrigan. Now, those gay men who are listening, who are in our age group, may recognize that name. For those who don't recognize him, he was a very popular gay porn star when we were in that transition period from porn was made by film studios to porn was made by creepy old men in their houses in the suburbs because they could make a website.
Yeah,
and make a lot
right.
of money.
You just make a website, you put a video up there, but you were people were paying subscriptions.
Yeah,
monthly subscriptions. It wasn't as lucrative as say it is now, where people pay by the video and they pay for a lot.
Pornhub wasn't a thing then, and it was. Do you remember? I don't want to I hope our moms aren't listening, but
I'm sorry, Mom. I was a huge fan of Brent Corrigan.
Yeah,
I've seen almost every video he's ever done.
Do you remember the first gay porn site that you paid for?
No.
You don't?
No.
I feel like that's a pivotal moment in every gay man's life.
I mean, I remember the first magazine I bought and that whole experience. The day I turned 18, I went and bought Play Guy magazine from a Circle K on University Boulevard. And it was behind the thing, and I had to actually ask somebody to get it. And I think I said, get that Play Guy, and he went to Play Boy, and I was like, no.
You heard me, sir.
That one.
Bring me the dick.
I think I still have that magazine. I think I kept it all these years.
What?
Yeah.
I wish I would have kept my first. Okay, so my first magazines were actually Penthouse, because Playgirl was just women showing off their nude bodies. It wasn't like penetration or anything. But Penthouse would show full-on penetration. So I worked at a magazine subscription plan that had Penthouse magazines, and I would get them for free. And everybody was like, "Oh, he must get them for the girls." No, I got them for the guys. I got them for the dudes.
Yeah, I'd find stashes of magazines from time to time and look at it for the dudes.
So the first website that I actually paid for, like I was like, "Oh, I'm going to pay to watch this," was a website called AZ Boy. AZ stood for Arizona, and it was a gay sex house where they had webcams up, and you would log on, and there would be this guy, AZ Boy, and he was just having sex with random guys who came to the house. That was the first website I ever paid for, and this whole movie reminded me of AZ Boy, not just in the videos, but in the acting as well. I feel like these actors watched like early internet porn and said that's who we're going to
I will say I don't
act for.
I don't know. I can't say for sure that it was. I mean, I guess it might have been Bellamy was probably the first one.
Bellamy?
There was
That's a good one.
You remember
That's a good one.
I don't know if you remember this Johan something.
No.
Anyway, he was one of the Bellamy actors. He was in a movie called Plowboys. And I just remember I mean I had that on a VHS tape. And there's about 32 seconds of that film that's probably not watchable anymore because it got worn out too much.
Gross.
Whatever, you keep saying penetration. I was like, God, I hope my mom's not listening to this part.
That's a technical
I was like,
term.
in honor of our 158th episode, I need you to say penetration 158 times. So anyway, let's just talk about real quick what you think Rotten Tomatoes was, and then we'll talk about what you think of it. What do you think Rotten Tomatoes was on this?
Before I saw this movie, I would have been like, oh, it's an interesting subject. It's an independent film. Critics probably loved it. After I watched it, this shit has to be like 25% on critics. This movie was so terrible.
It's got an audience and a critics.
Okay, I'm going to say audience 25, and I'm going to say audience because audiences are perverted, so it's a little higher. I'm going to say audience is 45.
So critics 25, audience 30.
Yeah, 45.
45.
Yeah.
Critics 50.
Okay, yeah, that's all right.
Audience,
I thought it'd be lower.
Audience 32.
Oh, yeah. This movie's terrible.
It is like, it is, okay. You take James Franco. Right? This is after Milk, right? This is after.
When you look at this cast and you look at the time
Alicia
period of when it came
Silverstone.
out, you think that this is like, oh, this movie could be and what the subject matter is, this movie could be going for like, maybe not Oscars, but Critics' Choice and independent film.
Yeah.
And then you watch the movie and you're like, no.
I think this is what happened. Because let me tell you, the story is
The
fascinating.
story is compelling.
Very compelling.
Fascinating.
The bodies.
The
beautiful.
bodies.
It's like, well, it's sort of like, it's got
the
this.
bodies are
It's
gorgeous.
got the sex scenes of a heated rivalry.
This is heated rivalry if a totally inept, not good writer wrote heated rivalry.
But so here's what I'm gonna this walked so heated rivalry could run.
Like somebody watch legit porn, like the beginning parts before the sex happens, and said that's how the actors should act.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what point I was going to make. I think it was a conscious decision to say we're making a movie about this type of movie, so let's make it feel that way. So it's like the dialogue was atrocious.
Oh my God. The scene, okay, when I knew this movie was off the rails and I wasn't going to like it, is the scene after James Franco, who plays Joe.
Yeah.
His boyfriend, Harlow, and they formed this rival gay porn site, Viper Boys, which is rival to Cobra Videos, which is what Christian Slater's character forms and hires the Brent Corrigan guy for.
Do you know what the real website was called? It wasn't Viper Boys.
No, I didn't understand. This is the other thing about the movie.
It was called Boy Batter.
Boy, I didn't understand why they changed. So, like, the guy who's formed quote unquote Cobra Videos, Christian Slater's character, his name is Stephen Kosix in the movie, but his name in real life, it's the same last name,
Brian.
but it's Brian. It's a different first name. Why did you change it?
And if you're going
it
to
makes
use
no sense.
and you're going to use Cobra, which
You
is the
used
real
his-
thing, but then
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that they just didn't get the rights to use the name of the other
Right.
one. But
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
But also, like, I don't. Yeah, and because it's not a documentary, they didn't have the right to just use it. So I feel like a lot of some of the stuff they got rights to and some they didn't. But I want to read to you because like how terrible the script is. It's just that. Or
I have
don't
a
wanna say
couple
it's
of my
terrible.
favorite lines from
I don't
the
want to
movie.
say it's terrible. I want to say that it's just I think they made a choice to make it.
That's
that
what
way.
they were going
Yeah.
for, and it made it terrible.
So here's a review from one of the audience members.
okay.
This 1 star is for Christian Slater. Not for his role in this movie, but only for Mr. Robot. If you're going to make a movie about gay porn, maybe hire actual gay actors instead of James Franco who's trying to act gay. The only thing believable about this film is that Christian Slater's character would get murdered. Spoiler. Do not recommend, especially when you want to watch something with your parents.
Oh,
What?
God.
P.S.
Why would you even watch this movie with your parents knowing what it's about?
P.S. I have sent all the actors, except for Sir Slater, a payment request for my wasted and delicate time. Then it just says, no.
No. Maybe not that bad, but this movie is not good.
I will say Molly Ringwald was good in it, but I
Molly
was surprised.
Ringwald is fine.
I was surprised
Alicia
at how-
Silverstone is a little
She's over the top.
crazy.
Yeah. I
But
didn't like it.
here's where I knew this movie was done. And early in the movie, Harlow he's a hooker and he's having sex with this old guy. And the guy's like getting into it. And he says, you're a dirty faggot. And he goes, yeah, I'm a faggot. And he goes, whoa, yeah.
Wait, while he's got his arm in a sling and
Yeah.
he's going out with the other arm. Why is his arm in a sling?
I don't know. So he's hooking up with him. So he finishes and he comes in and he gives the money to James Franco, who plays his boyfriend. And James Franco throws the money and throws the guy against the window. And then like Lifetime movie music, like pew, comes on and he goes, I don't care about the money. I'm in love with you. And do you think the money means anything to me? And he's like, I love you too. And I was like, what
He's
the
like, he's like, you
is
made me get into
happening?
this. And he's like, you made me do this. This is your
It
escort
is so
company. And then they're
weird.
like, I fucking love you. No, I fucking love you. Ah.
It is so weird. And I was like, why? Because, okay, he's an Oscar nominated actor. I've seen James Franco be able to act like well. And in this, I'm like, did you tell him to act like that? Because it is so over the top. It's so awful.
Yeah.
But
Definitely
yeah,
over
from
the
that
top.
point on, I was like, this movie is going to be a lot.
You know,
And
my
here's
favorite.
the thing. I went on Fandango to get it, and it was to rent it. It was $4.99. To buy it, it was $9.99. And I was like, well, if this turns out to be good, I don't want to just rent it. I want
you
to own
own
it for
it.
$5. Then I own this piece of shit.
I signed up for a free trial to AMC Plus
I should have done that.
for an hour and 35 minutes.
At least I could have watched the new season of Interview with a Vampire.
Oh my god, I'm totally gonna. I still have it for like 6 days. I'm gonna go back
Oh,
and watch I'm gonna go back and watch the Walking Deads that I want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. The line for me, or one scene for me that was like ridiculous, and I'm like, if I had paid $3.99 to rent it, which is what it was on my system, it would have been worth this, because I forget where they are, and they start. It might be when some sort of jealousy fight or something, and then no, maybe it's after like they had the gun. He pulled a gun on him, and then he took the gun out, and then they were like, "Let's fuck." And then you've got
It's
James
so
Franco
stupid.
bent over a table screaming, "Fuck that ass! Fuck that
Fuck
ass!"
that
And
ass.
I'm like,
Fuck that ass.
"This is James Franco just bent over
Yeah.
screaming that." Right on.
Watching this movie, like I'm watching it, it's just the worst dialogue and the worst filming of the scenes. And I'm watching like Christian Slater, Alicia Silverstone, Molly Ringwald, like these huge actors from the 80s and 90s come up, and they're just so over the top. And I was like, what happened?
Yeah.
Why did you take this role? What
Yeah.
happened?
Now, I did a little dive into like the real story. And this
Yeah.
is like when you messaged
There's
me.
a documentary about this movie that I actually watched that is so much better than this movie, because it's a crazy thing that happened.
Yeah, it's a fascinating story. And then there's like this there was some crime story show that had like a 6-minute video and then a 7-minute video and an 8-minute video. And I was halfway through the last video when you messaged me and said, "Oh, I'm back early. I'm ready to go." And I was like, "Oh shit." And I hadn't done any of this stuff. And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't do my typical like, hey, what was this actor also in? Blah, blah, blah." Which, by the way, one of the boys that came after Brent Corrigan plays the boyfriend in The Real O'Neills. I didn't write his name down. I didn't have time.
Oh, okay.
I was shocked that we were ready early. But the fuck, now I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh well. I did a dive into the real thing, and some of the facts about like what really happened are fascinating. And I wonder, like, what are the choices that people make in movies that are based on true stories that they think so? Like, for example, when Brent went to meet them for dinner and they wanted to the Viper Boys and they wanted to talk about like, let's do this video. He didn't go alone. He went with his manager, and he and his manager were fighting the Brian guy over the name, which I find weird. Like, if Brent Corrigan came up with the name Brent Corrigan, couldn't he prove that and prove that it was his name and this guy had no right to copyright it? Like, I feel like that was a thing that could have happened, but I don't know. I know a little bit about it.
I feel like if they were intelligent people, this could have been handled in a much more civil manner. But these are all idiots in gay porn who are like, yeah, my dick's hard and I want to make money.
Yeah,
and they didn't know what to do.
So in the film, right, I'm going to give away all this stuff. It's 10 years.
Sure,
If you haven't seen it, you're not going to see it. Or maybe our glowing review of it will make you go see it. So the like in the film, this battle between the name, Christian Slater's character calls Brent Corrigan and says, "Listen, let's get past this. Let's work on a settlement. Let's do something."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay, let's do that." And then the Viper Boys kill Brian because they're, or whatever his name is in the movie, Scott, whatever. Anyway, they kill him because they know if they kill him, then Brent Corrigan can use his name and they can do a video with him and make all this money.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, but they were going to work on a deal. The true story is a settlement was reached 2 weeks before he got killed, and these idiots just killed him anyway.
They just killed him anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just that tells you a little bit about it, which is kind of stupid.
They're all idiots, and the movie doesn't. Yeah, the documentary is so much better. It's called Cobra Killer, and it's a much better movie than the actual movie.
So the obviously people think Brent Corrigan had this guy killed so he can get his name, because they were the ones in the legal battle, this kind of stuff, and so they felt like he had something to do with that. So Brent Corrigan went to the police and said, "Hey, these guys said they were going to kill him so that they could make this film with me. So they might be who you want to look at." So they put a wire on him, and he goes and gets gets the confession. Now in the movie, they do it at a dinner thing, but in reality, do you know where this went down?
No. Where was it?
It went down on a nude beach in Fort Lauderdale.
Sounds about right.
Caitlin's about to ask the question: how do you wear a wire at a nude beach? And the guy Joe, who felt like, just wanted to make sure that they weren't getting bugged, decided he wanted to do it at a nude beach so that he couldn't get recorded. And they knew he was going here, so the FBI put the bug in the key ring, in Brent Corrigan's key ring, which he sat down. He put his keys next to the guy that actually killed him, and that's how they got the confession. Now, why not have that nude beach scene? Let's go.
Right? Why make
Have you not seen Boogie Nights? Let's see some penis.
Yeah. There was first of all, no penis in this movie. Like, I feel like if you're going to do a movie about gay porn stars, no matter how dramatic the scene is, I should see penis. And I saw no penis.
So 1 star from you then, or 1 grape?
I'll go 1.5 grapes, and here's why. Because the last line of the movie cracked me up. I kept rewinding it because I was like, I want to get this right.
Something like let's
It
fuck.
cracked me up. So after all this, James Franco and his boyfriend, they go to jail for murdering Christian Slater. And Brett Corrigan, he's now not only a porn film actor, but he is a film director. His mom, Melissa Silverstone, who reamed him, that's a bad choice of words, who yelled at him about being a porn star, came to accept him for who he is. The final scene is him directing and starring in his first movie that he directed. And the guy, one of the APs come up to him and he goes, "Hey, I was thinking we could film over here away from the tractor." And he said, "I really like the masculinity of the tractor." And he goes, "Right away, boss, we'll film the tractor." And then he calls one of the makeup ladies over and he goes, "Can I get a touch up on my ass?" And she comes over and powders his ass crack. And he's like, "All right, let's fuck." Cut to credits. And I was like, bravo. Bravo. Best way to end a movie.
Second best line in the whole film.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with I feel
1.5 grapes. This movie was stupid.
I'm gonna give it 2. And I'm gonna give it 2 because I don't remember what I gave Naked Boy Singing, and I've got to say it's better than that. So I can't.
This is so
go
much
too
better
low.
than Naked Boy Singing, and I'm pretty sure I gave that 1 grape, which is why I'm giving this 1.5 grapes.
I'm gonna give this 2 grapes, 1 for each of Brent Corrigan's testicles. Because let's be
I'm
real,
going to give
I
this
was a
1.5
fan.
grapes for each one of Brett Corrigan's testicles. I am taking no questions.
I was a fan. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean,
So is it?
I'd be a liar if I said I didn't watch any of his videos.
You know what's
but,
interesting too?
know.
There was a time where they wouldn't, like he couldn't get a job because people wouldn't they wouldn't let him. They were like, "We want Brent Corrigan. We don't want whatever name you came up with." So they they would because he could do films.
We skipped over the whole part where he had a fight with the Cobra guy, Christian Slater, where Christian Slater had copywritten his name.
Yeah.
But then Brett Corrigan was like, "Oh, by the way, those first videos we did, I was 17." And then he got arrested and he became a pedophile. He had to register as a sex offender. And they were going back and forth. And he couldn't use his name, Brett Corrigan, because it was copywritten by Christian Slater's character, Steven, at Cobra Videos. And that is why the other 2 guys from Viper Boys murdered him,
Right.
so that Brett Corrigan could use his name and do a video and they could make a bunch of money.
Yeah. So as a person who may or may not have watched a video or 2 of Brent Corrigan, I will say this. I don't care what you called him. I don't care what his name was. I mean, unless it was something ridiculous like Hitler, I would not watch that.
Yeah.
But if it was or Epstein, I wouldn't watch it either because that's just weird at this point. But if it was Caitlin just yelled, "Jesus Christ." Yeah, if it was that too, I don't think I'd watch that.
No.
So, I just like why it's him. Like, I mean, as a person who would have watched that, it's ridiculous that none of these people just reinvent him under a different name and move forward.
Yeah.
That guy would have lived if they had done that.
Yeah. But at the time, he blew the lid off of gay porn about
giggity.
He was because he was 17 and he kind of put a spotlight on the fact that underage guys were being used in gay porn, and a lot of people are like, "You're too toxic right now. We can't do anything with you," because he really got the industry kind of frazzled, because apparently they were using 16 and 17-year-olds a lot in gay porn, even though the guys were lying. They weren't verified.
Yeah, well, I didn't watch any of those.
Oh, yeah, there was a huge
It was later in their careers.
It was a huge thing about Brett Corrigan kind of blowing the lid off of the fact that underage guys were being used in some of the gay porn, and it sent it vibrated through the through the whole community,
God.
and
Wait.
he got tainted. And he couldn't work.
So they gave each other the shaft,
And he was all like,
busted each other's balls,
my nuts,
tore each other a new
penis.
ass. I could do this all day.
Anyway, good movie. Not at all. Terrible movie. Yes.
Got it out of our system. Now we can move on. Maybe we'll find some
maybe we'll watch
masterpiece
something
to watch next time.
God, we need to watch a good movie after this, because this thing
We need a palate cleanser.
this thing sucked.
Yeah.
This movie, really, any actor involved in this movie, you have some explaining to do.
You know what? I will say this, though.
Who was married to Lucille Ball? Jesus Christ.
Ricky Arnaz?
Is
that it?
Ricky Ricardo.
Ricky Ricardo.
I was going to say Ricky Martin. I was like, that's not right. Ricky Ricardo would say, you all have a lot of explaining to do. This movie was atrocious. But it
But almost comically. It might be something people would enjoy
terrible.
to laugh at how horrible the dialogue
This would be a good. God, I don't know if I've just been away from Orlando too long or if I'm just drunk. But that thing that we did with the movies.
Movies Out Loud? This would be
Movies
great.
Out Loud.
Oh,
This would
that's
be
a
great
great
for Movies
idea.
Out Loud. Yes.
Oh.
There you go.
Pride's
that.
coming up. Yes.
For Pride, do King Cobra. I will phone in and I will talk about how shitty this
I'm gonna
movie
and then I'm gonna
is.
make the staff go and work the event.
Atrocious.
I think that there may be a harassment suit if I
gotta
people,
say,
you come
if you
back to
do
me,
this for Movies Out Loud, this is the reason why I'm so happy I don't work for Watermark anymore. I don't have to watch this shit again.
The reason. There's not 158 reasons. That's what we could do.
As-
Next week we'll go through the 159 reasons you're happy that you don't work here anymore.
As Celine Dion says, you are the reason. I kid.
Oh, I
Thank
can
you.
rewrite that song. For all the blah blah blahs you made me go to. I can do it. I'm gonna do that.
Can I just say, I saw the videos and the photos of Watermark out at Winter Pride,
Yes.
and all I kept thinking was thank God I don't work for that company, because I would have hated driving to St. Pete for that shit.
Yeah. I didn't get to experience any of it, so I didn't talk anything about it, but it was Winter Pride and people were
Yeah.
there and they had a good time.
It looked
So,
fine.
yeah.
It looked fun.
It's just look, listen, when it is
We
your
just
job
went to so many events.
when it's your job to go to these Pride events,
Yeah,
of
it's
course
exhausting.
they're great. Of course you like them, but when it's no longer your job to do it, it's like you've been let out of jail.
Yeah.
I mean, I get
Like,
it.
I love-
I don't
I love
understand
Pride.
it, but I get it.
I
'Cause
love
I've not
Pride.
experienced it for 24
I love going to
years.
festivals. I love going to parades. But I gotta say, in June, when I saw you all at St. Pete Pride working the booths and everything, and I didn't have to do it, I laughed. I laughed at you, and I didn't mean
Yeah.
to,
Were you
but I laughed.
were you excited for us to hear that Gay Days Inc. has paused their events? Does it still
I
annoy you
was-
that nationally speaking the news gets it wrong? They're like,
Yeah,
Disney
it
canceled
does.
Gay Days. No.
As I was reading the stories, I was like, "Oh my God, you all are so stupid." It's one
What's
group.
interesting too, even national gay outlets are getting it wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, you
Yeah.
know us. Just give us a call. We're happy to help you through it.
Yeah, it was not surprising. I'll say that. I was not surprised when they paused it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not either. I'm saddened by it.
Sad.
I'll tell you why I'm sad about it.
Not surprised.
And no offense to anybody that's running it now, because I'm not talking about you. But
Yeah.
I mean, this was the inevitable outcome.
Oh,
of
we all saw it
of
coming.
copywriting the name.
Yep.
This was the
Yep.
inevitable outcome. And it's not just about your company having whatever issues it's having. It's not, I don't care what they are. It's not about that. It's about the confusion that has now been caused and how
Look
it's going
what
to
you
and how
did.
that decision is going to affect so many other, like, people may say, "Oh, it's canceled, I'm not going,"
Yeah.
and that's not the case.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like we should wrap up. You got to pee. I see a little pee dance.
Oh my
coming
God!
on.
Do you see me
I
moving
see you
around?
dancing. Either that, or
I was-
you like just did some coke or meth or
I
something.
was
don't know.
trying to be so subtle, but it is really
I know.
punching up
You've
my
been bouncing
bladder.
for a minute, so I'm good to go.
Okay. But we will be back next week.
Yes.
And until then, the cork is back in the bottle.